basically asked the same question. Would you move Judge to first base, have Jason Dominguez play at his natural position in center field, or have Judge play left field? My opinion is Dominguez is not ideal for left field.
Interesting.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian.
Stacey, what's going on? Much needed day off, yes?
Yes. Also, it's Fanmail Friday. We haven't had Fanmail Friday in well over a month. This is
for
exciting.
A good reason.
Yeah, well, obviously, yes, because we joked about that before the playoffs started. We said, we're not going to have Fanmail Friday for a little while. We don't know how long it's going to be. And you would joke, well, we hope it's, not until November. Here we are.
Here you go. My wish came true.
It's Fanmail Friday. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. So as we said, it's Fanmail Friday. But first, let's discuss Luis Gil winning AL Rookie of the Year from Baseball Digest. That's cool.
Yeah, it's an award from Baseball Digest, not necessarily Major League Baseball's official AL Rookie of the Year. But pretty cool, deserving. Got off to really a strange year for Luis Gil. Got off to an incredible start. Really kind of, middled off in the middle of the season. I guess that's the right explanation, right? He kind of tailed off, didn't have a great middle of the year, and then had a little bit of a bounce back towards the end. Pitched decently in the postseason. Really had a start to his career that you can envision being a very solid middle of your rotation guy. I don't know if he becomes an ace. I just don't know if I see that stuff in him necessarily, but I do see really solid middle to upper middle of the rotation kind of stuff. At his best, I think a 2. At his worst, I think a 4. Which is good. Those are the guys you need on your roster, right? And you have 6 more years of him on your roster to start off winning of the Baseball Digest AL Rookie of the Year. Pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so it's voted on by an 11-person panel for Baseball Digest. He beat out Colton Cowser and Mason Miller, 2 big rookie names. They both had incredible years, and Paul Skeens won NL Rookie of the Year. Some of the stats for Luis Gil that I thought were amazing. If you told me at the beginning of the season that Luis Gil was going to be 15-7 with a 3.50 ERA, I would have been thrilled with that. I would have been absolutely thrilled. He had 171 strikeouts. He made 29 starts. Out of those 29 starts, in 22 of them, he permitted 3 or fewer runs. And then in 18 of them, 2 or fewer runs, and 1 or 0 runs in 17 of them.
What it shows me is, all of his ERA being as high as it is because of a few really bad starts. And that's it. Most of his starts, he keeps you in games. He keeps you very in games. And what's better about it is the Yankees having an offense like they have, especially over the next coming years. If they're going to have an offense like this, he's going to keep you in games. He's going to give you a chance to win almost every single start. Or, I guess better to phrase it, he's going to give you a chance to win in 75% of his starts, 80% of his starts. And what more can you ask for from a middle of your rotation guy?
Right. So his 17 starts of 1 or 0 runs allowed in 2024 were tied with 2 pretty good starters, Tarek Skubal of the Tigers and Garrett Crochet of the White Sox. And they were tied for the most such starts in the majors, not just the AL.
And you look at those guys, not necessarily playing on stellar teams throughout the entire year either. And look what they did for their teams, right? I mean, Garrett Crochet obviously playing on the worst team of all time, literally. And Skubal, the Tigers, I know, made their playoff run, but the Tigers didn't necessarily enter the season as a favorite or play throughout the entire year as a favorite. They really got hot in September. Throughout the rest of the year, they were an average team throughout the entire year. So when you compare him to numbers like that against guys that are, top tier starters in the entire league, you have to love what you saw out of Gil this year. Now, again, it is 1 year, it is a start, but I think there's a lot of positivity to the depth of veteran pitching the Yankees do have on their roster also. Gil can, he had a relationship with Gerrit Cole this year they got pretty close with. Having guys like that you can rely on is also huge. He's going to learn a lot from guys like Gerrit Cole and Rodon to really feed up those guys, especially to the playoff experience that he gained. He got a World Series start this year. He got an ALCS start this year. He got to pitch in a lot of really big-time games, too. I think that's a lot of value to that, too.
Yep, and let's not forget that Scooble's probably winning the Cy Young, the AL Cy Young. So for him to have the same numbers as Scooble in a category is pretty damn cool.
Sign for that.
Yeah. So congrats to Luis Gil. That's awesome. So it's Fanmail Friday, as we were celebrating at the top of the show. And in case you're a new subscriber, and there are a bunch of you, thank you for subscribing to the show during the playoffs. And we hope you stick around for the offseason because we have plenty of things going on. We do Fanmail Friday every week, except during the playoffs. And we have our viewers and listeners ask us questions. And at the top of it, our insiders get top priority. And we have one specific insider. We've done this since last year when we started it. Betty is always the first question because we love Betty and she's very, very loyal to us. And this is how we reward Betty. So this is Betty's question for the first Fanmail Friday of the offseason. What do you think about moving Judge to first base? Dominguez in center, Cabrera, or a new player in left? I think there's still plenty of options for outfield. Now, the thing that's funny about this is we also had a YouTube question, and normally we do insiders first, then YouTube, but KTM23, KTM24 basically asked the same question. Would you move Judge to first base, have Jason Dominguez play at his natural position in center field, or have Judge play left field? My opinion is Dominguez is not ideal for left field.
Interesting. I don't love the narrative of moving Judge off of his natural position. I think people often get very confused with baseball, especially at the pro level, and think it's as easy as moving a guy's position. It's not. No. It's not, I don't want to sound insulting and it's going to come across that way. It's not Little League where you can go from playing right field to left field to shortstop to catcher to pitcher all within an inning. It's not that way. Once you get past, once you get, like, this isn't this, and again, I sound insulting, but I mean this in a legitimate sense. This is not a co-ed beer league Sunday morning softball league where you can just move from center field and then play first base next week and then play second. It doesn't work that way. And people often act like it does and look at it like it does. You can't just switch positions, and moving a guy to first base that's never played first base in his entire professional or semi-professional career. Judge has never been a first baseman. There's a lot of intricacies to playing first base at the major league level. It's not as easy as running over to the bag and catching the ball. That's not what it is. And I know there's been the reputation of David Ortiz played first base for a while, and they've experimented with different players and everything. We just saw in the World Series how important it is to have an elite first baseman. And Anthony Rizzo did not play at an elite level in the World Series whatsoever. And we saw that. You saw the remnants of it. It's extremely important. You can't afford to have subpar play at first base. Judge would be that. He's not a major league first baseman. So I don't think it's as easy as moving guys' positions. And we see this every year, Stacey. Every year we get questions, not necessarily about Judge. Players around all of baseball with teams are questioning, would you move him to first base? It's not that easy. I would not move him to first base. I don't think Judge should ever play first base in his career because he's not a first base and he hasn't been trained to play it.
Right.
That's just me.
Wait, hold on. If anything, Judge should be moved back to right field.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's a premier right fielder. And I think he's a Gold Glove right fielder. Like we said, I want them to sign Soto as bad as everybody else. He's an all-time great player. It's not the sky isn't falling if they don't re-sign him. There are plenty of maneuvers they can make to make themselves a competitive team that's better or not just as good. My opinion on the whole thing though is, Judge being a right fielder, he's a platinum glove right fielder in my opinion. He is. So those are his two positions: right field or center. That's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think there could be other people that can go to first instead of Judge, but we'll talk about that more.
Agreed.
Before, during the offseason, we could talk about that. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. And if you would like to be part of next week's Fanmail Friday, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday and ask us anything. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club, where you get top priority and your questions are answered in segment 1 or sometimes segment 2, which you will see in segment 2. The link is in the description, and it isn't only for Fanmail Friday. You can text from us, you can text us questions, and we have a cool new perk that we're going to tell you about at the end of the show involving the insiders, and there's a tease for you. There's a 14-day free trial, and it's a good time. So coming up next, more Fanmail Friday.
Big holidays mean big family get-togethers, so gather your loved ones and enjoy all of the holiday traditions you cherish with the help of cash back from Ibotta. This month, Ibotta is giving new users 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving feast. Just add the offers in the app to redeem for everything you need to make your Thanksgiving feast complete. All you have to do is shop at your favorite retailers and upload your receipt. Ibotta gives you cash back for hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods, so you can get everything you need for the holidays. Other apps gives you points that don't amount to much, but with Ibotta, you get real cash back that you can cash out to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. You can also earn cash back on hundreds of online brands and retailers too when you start with Ibotta, including Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Download the Ibotta app now and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving feast starting November 1st. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app and use code, one word, LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store, and use code LOCKEDONMLB. Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place all of your bets. Futures bets are available. European soccer is going on. Tennis is getting started soon. You've got college basketball, the NBA, the NHL, the NFL. It's all happening right now, and you can get into all the action on FanDuel.com. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's all available on FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel. It's the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Stacey, welcome back. We continue with Fanmail Friday, and let's start us off with Eric S. He says, do you think the Yankees should set a date of mid-December to sign Soto, and if not, move on? Waiting possibly to spring training will cost him the chance to get other free agents. I don't hate this question. Stacey, I would say I've seen this posted in a lot of places on social media if they should give Soto a date. Here's why I think they don't do that. Setting someone with an ultimatum could kind of aggravate somebody. Setting him with a date could annoy someone. Like Soto would say, well, why do I have to answer to you? Why do I have to give you a certain date? You wait till I give an answer. I would approach him with, hey, can we try and move this a little quicker so we can get our team as good as possible and have time to make maneuvers and stuff. But no, I don't hate this at all. I don't think they'll do it, but they got to give themselves chances to make, they have to have a date, I think, set in their own head where they know they're not going to get Soto. And they got to start making other moves, because again, they cannot go forward into this offseason with the expectation of just getting Juan Soto, and then all of a sudden February hits and they'll get him. then what do you do?
You're right.
So I think you got to set a date for yourself if you're the Yankees, but not necessarily give that date to Juan Soto.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I don't. Yeah, that wouldn't be a good thing. You have to tell us by December 15th. You'd be like,
can't handle that.
Okay. Yeah, but thank you for that question, Eric. Up next, a new insider, at least new since our last Fanmail Friday. This is Tim. Does Caleb Durbin have the lead spot of second base going into spring since Glaber is most likely gone?
I would say no.
Right.
I think your future second baseman is one of two things. It's a free agent signed or trade or an outside player, or Jazz Chisholm.
Mhm.
You're either going to have I'll call it an implant for now, right? You'll either have an implant at second base or at third base, and Jazz is going to rotate at the other, whatever the position is not taken. I've seen a lot of people today making the point that the Yankees should go after Nolan Arenado. I don't know why the St. Louis I would love Nolan Arenado on my team. I don't know why the St. Louis Cardinals would just give him away. So I don't know how that's going to happen, but I think there are going to be, I don't think you know who the Yankees second or third baseman are next year, but I do think that player is not Caleb Durbin. I think that player is some outsider. You got to remember, Caleb Durbin is playing really well in the Arizona Fall League right now, but it's happening in the Arizona Fall League. He's not doing this all season. He's not doing this at the major league level. You can't take what guys do at minor league levels and assume that it's going to translate immediately to the major league level, especially going forward into next year. Because what happens if Caleb Durbin starts the year at second base next year and he's terrible? Now you have no maneuverability. So, no, I don't think he's the second baseman, at least going into the spring of this year.
I would agree with that.
Stacy, David F. asks, Stacy and Brian, those are our names. I am following the hot stove like everyone. It appears the Yankees are considering adding another high-end arm. I didn't think it was a priority right now. Any thoughts on that? Have you seen a lot of these reports personally? Because I haven't at all.
No, I mean, I've seen people say, Yankees should get Corbin Burns. It's like, yeah, okay, but that's not the same as, thinking that the Yankees are in on getting a high-end arm. Like, no one's said anything. And also, I mean, the hot stove is 3 days old at this point. So, like, it's all important. This, people are just saying a lot of things, and I don't think there's, I don't know. My biggest fear is the Yankees are going to look at what the Dodgers did in the playoffs, because they were forced to have bullpen games and not, guys not really starting and the Yankees thinking to themselves, maybe we don't need starters. Maybe we need to build up the bullpen.
I'd like to think they know better than that, only because the Dodgers obviously didn't intend to do that.
I know, but
I would say you got to remember there's a lot of false reports that come out this time of the year, and a lot of agents in particular want to involve the Yankees in every single rumor imaginable. So when there are baseball insiders that report things and talk to agents, a lot of times agents will respond with, oh, yeah, Yankees are interested, Dodgers are interested, Red Sox are interested, Cubs are interested, Mets are interested, Phillies are interested, all the high market teams, because that drives the value of their client up. And then their client signs with the Tigers or the Reds or the Marlins. It's like all these, that just is used to drive the price up. So any high-end free agent, you will see the Yankees attached to. Will the Yankees necessarily go after a high-end pitching arm? I highly doubt it. Maybe a high-end bullpen arm, like a middle relief guy. I could definitely see the Yankees going here to Devin Williams out of Milwaukee. Apparently he's available. I can see something like that. I can't see them going after a high-end starter. There's no room for it. And let's be real. Stroman, Cole, Rodon, Heel, Nestor is not a terrible rotation.
No.
It's not.
No. If it's healthy and if guys are performing the way they're supposed to, it's really not.
No.
It's really not.
And if the offense performs the way it's supposed to too, they should be fine with that rotation. They should.
Right. Next, from Casey, our last insider question. What are your favorite World Series moments of all time? How would you rank the Yankees World Series MVPs in terms of who did best?
Does he mean Yankee moments or does he mean World Series in general moments? Because I haven't seen a lot of Yankee World Series.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, jerk.
I have. And Yankees World Series MVPs, I don't even remember. This is so funny, but I don't remember who won 96. I don't remember who won 98. I don't remember who won 99. 99 may have been like, who would it have been? I don't remember. I just know that Jeter won in 2000 and Hideki Matsui won in 09. Those are the last two that I remember.
And that's because you remember the legendary performance out of Matsui, not necessarily. I think John Wetland won one of them in like 98 or something.
He wasn't there in 98. Yeah.
But like you remember the performances of World Series MVPs if there's a significant moment where a guy just went off, like Matsui in Game 6. He's the reason they won Game 6. All right, that makes sense. But overall, I mean, I don't know about you. World Series MVP is such like an afterthought. If your team wins the World Series, you don't remember or think about or care who won the World Series MVP.
Right. Although I will say, as good as Matsui's Game 6 performance was, nothing beats the Subway Series in 2000. The Yankees drop Game 3. Game 4 starts, and Derek Jeter hits a home run on the first pitch because people were thinking, oh, okay, the Mets are going to come back into this, and Jeter just shut everyone up. People weren't even sitting yet. Like, some people weren't even at their seats yet, and Jeter started that game off with a home run. And at that moment, I thought to myself, they're really going to win this, aren't they? Like, I feel like that kind of turned things around. So that's my favorite. I'll say that's my favorite World Series MVP moment. I'll combine the two questions.
For poops and giggles, 98 is Scott Brocious, 99 is Mariano Rivera, 2000 is Jeter, 96 was Wetland.
That's right, Brocious. That's right. He had a big series in San Diego. Yeah.
My favorite overall World Series moment, and I think this is the greatest World Series ever played, is 2011. Alan Craig, David Freese, the Cardinals Rangers World Series. Nothing gets better than that one. Just personally.
Yeah.
We will see you tomorrow night.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, we will. Is that English? Hold on. Let's do that again. Coming up next, we will move on to YouTube questions. And I would like to point out that KTM23, KTM24, who asked basically the same question as Betty, was a first-time question asker. So welcome to Fanmail Friday. I forgot to mention that, but welcome and thank you for watching and participating in our favorite segment of the week. Next, YouTube questions. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. All right, so like I said, we're moving on to YouTube questions, and there are a few here. So let's go to our first one from Rivka Meiselman, 3375. Rivka is a regular, and it's an interesting one. What do you guys think about acquiring Alex Bregman for third base?
I know what Stacey's answer is going to be here because she's too petty. I don't hate it. I would absolutely. I would entertain the idea.
I actually don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's just
I would think you would just because of the Astro thing. Like I would think you would, but
yeah. See, okay, but there's the other petty part of me who wants to see Yankee fans have to cheer for Alex Bregman.
Oh, okay.
You know what I
mean? I do think, to me at least, Altuve will always be the face of that scandal. I would never want Altuve to play for the Yankees ever. Like that for sure. I am petty enough to admit. Alex Bregman is an excellent baseball player. He really is. He's He's a tremendous fielder. He gets on base. He never strikes out. He hits for power. He's played in the postseason. He's got the clutch gene. I wouldn't hate it. And he didn't have a great year this year, so I think the price would be a little cheaper than he normally would have been. I don't think they wind up with him, but I don't know if he winds up in Houston either. Houston's got a large salary, and they've been trying to shed salary the last few years, so I don't know if he winds up back there. But I would love for them to be involved in the Alex Bregman sweepstakes.
Yeah, it would be interesting, and I wouldn't hate it totally. I admit it.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad. I don't see the whole question here from Phantom 1845. After what Torres did in the playoffs, I guess he meant to ask, why is it good to get rid of Gleyber Torres? He's a really good leadoff hitter. I don't think either of us said it was good to get rid of Gleyber Torres necessarily. Yeah. I just think the Yankees are done. Sometimes your time and a place is just over. He's been a Yankee for 6 years, and I think the Yankees know who he is, right? Like sometimes, when you know a guy, you know what his makeup is like. The Yankees may think that they know enough about Gleyber Torres to know they don't want to bring him back, and it's the devil sometimes, right? The Red Sox were totally okay with letting Jacoby Ellsbury walk, and the Yankees wanted him desperately, and it wound up being the right call because they knew what the future of Jacoby Ellsbury held. Maybe the Yankees know what the future of Gleyber Torres held. Maybe they know that, Gleyber Torres played really well for a month. It doesn't tell the whole story. He was a really good leadoff hitter. He did play well, but it was for a month. He finished off the year really well, but, I don't think the Yankees view him in their long-term plans. So, would I love Gleyber Torres to be a part of the Yankee future? Sure. But they could get better at second base, and I think that's their plan.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And our final question is from Optimistic Zombies. It's always good to be optimistic. I'm not sure if it's good to be zombies, but let me kick this comment off with the statement that I know Soto is one of the best players in the game, no question, and would love him back. However, would it better serve the Yankees to have, say, 3 times $20 million players instead of him at, say, $60 million for sake of argument? The Yankees had him and couldn't get it done in the World Series, so why would it change next year? They need so much more than just him. I don't get why signing him again would change anything. Surely the money would be better reinvested across the team that came up so short against the Dodgers, who themselves will improve.
Because Juan Soto is a generational, unbelievable talent. That's why. Yeah. Juan Soto is legitimately a top 10 player in the history of baseball. And you do everything to keep those guys on your team. You do. That's why you make that move. That's why you bring him back. Can the money be reallocated across the rest of the team? Sure. But when you have a player like Juan Soto on your team, you do everything possible to keep him. You just do. The Dodgers have star players across their roster, and they make it work. The Yankees could do the exact same. So to me, you don't ever not bring a player of that caliber back. Ever.
Right. And they couldn't get it done in the World Series, but it wasn't because of Juan Soto.
No, he played fantastic in the entire postseason.
Yeah,
In fact, the superstar that you have locked up long-term was the guy who didn't perform in the postseason.
Right.
Juan Soto was not the problem in the playoffs.
Yeah, so you bring him back. Juan Soto is the one that had...
Again, he's Ted Williams in the modern-day sense.
He had the highlight of the playoffs, hitting that game-winning home run against Cleveland to put them into the World Series.
He won them.
Why would you want him? Why would you want to get rid of him? It's not your money. I mean, I know, yes, the thought of reallocating it and investing it in 3 guys as opposed to 1 seems better, but I would rather have Juan Soto than 3 guys who could be okay at $20 million each.
Completely agree. That's the move. He's a top 10 player of all time. He stays on your team. You do everything possible to keep. Again, we've made the point. Because of the point that you made, Mr. Zombies, it's not over if they don't get Juan Soto. It's not. Like they can maneuver plenty and they can use them. I hope they reallocate that money for sure, but it's not over. But you still at the same time do everything possible to keep a guy like Juan Soto. You do. Because other money frees up over the next coming years, and that allows you to that allows you pretty much to be able if you're not going to re-sign Juan Soto, to be able, if you sign Juan Soto, the money that gets reallocated over the next few years of guys that become free agents and come off the books is money you can reallocate and improve your team over the years. And if you don't sign Juan Soto, you have $60 million that you plan on spending that is now available to you. So either way, they're not in a terrible spot.
Right. Now, speaking of Juan Soto, I'm going to put even though I'm not a mother, I'm going to put my mother hat on. Just a word to the wise this hot stove season, which is, like I said earlier, only 3 days old at this point. Don't believe everything you read, especially if it's not from a reputable sports reporter or baseball reporter. And I know this seems like common sense, but more and more people are trying to trick fans into thinking that stuff is happening. They send out misinformation. Even worse, they send out disinformation, because there's a difference between mis and disinformation. And you don't want anyone to fall victim to that trickery. And there are a lot of people who do that on social media. So I just wanted to give you a word to the wise. If you are on Elon Musk's website, not everyone with a blue check mark is legit. You have to really be careful with that stuff, because I saw a tweet earlier from some Mets account saying that, basically like Juan Soto going to the Mets was a done deal, but then also saying, but I'm not, my source says so, but I'm not saying that it's definite. Why are you even posting that stuff? Like, don't do that. Don't engage with it either, because I saw some Yankee fans reacting to it and being like, what are you doing?
Unfortunately, you can now pay for a check mark.
Well, that's the thing. Yes,
any
person can. Let me just brag. 2016, as a goof, the week before my birthday in 2016, I was like, I write for a bunch of places now. I write for Baseball Prospectus. I write for, Beyond the Box Score, Hardball Times. I've written for ESPN. I'm going to apply to get verified. And I sent all my info in, and I forgot about it. 2 days before my birthday, I wake up, I look at my phone, I check Twitter and see that my latest follower is Twitter verified. And I said, no way. And I clicked on my profile, and there it was, the blue check mark, and I was verified. And I was very proud of that, even though I really did it for S's and giggles, because I really did do it as a goof, and I didn't think they were going to accept me. And I BS'd my way into a verified check mark, although not really, because I did write for reputable baseball sites at the time. So it just, now anyone can pay. I don't remember how much it is, if it's $8 a month, $12 a month, whatever it is.
Whatever.
But at this point on Twitter, you're better off trusting someone without a blue check mark.
Yeah, it's not reliable, so be careful with baseball news. Trust the sources that the regular baseball sources, guys who don't, and even the baseball sources that you want to trust. Make sure they're guys that routinely get things right, not guys who routinely get things wrong, because there's those guys too out there.
Right. And speaking of people who get things right, never get things wrong, we spoke about the fact that we're going to have an interview series, and we're going to be interviewing members of the media, and we might have a couple of return guests from previous shows. Last year was a big one, and we might have the return of a former player who was on 3 years ago. Cross your fingers that works out. But the perk for the insiders, and if you join the Insiders Club, you will get the chance to ask our guests a question. You will not only just ask the question, you will record yourself asking the question on your phone, because it's 2024. We all have the ability to record ourselves on our phones, and we will play it for the guest and they will answer it. So that is our latest insider perk. So not only top priority on Fanmail Friday, not only, breaking news as it happens, now you get to ask some media members who are going to be on our show any questions you want.
Pretty cool, right?
I think that's pretty cool. So thank you for joining us on this first Fanmail Friday of the offseason. And we're going to have
heck of a lot of these.
Yeah, Fanmail Friday will be every Friday until the playoffs in 2025. So just so you know. So prepare yourselves and think of questions for next week if you can. And again, Monday through Friday, pinned comment, but you're better off joining the Insiders Club because you get perks. And we're going to come up with other ideas for perks too in the off season, because we want to make this fun for everyone. It's fun already, but we want to make it even more fun. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, find Locked On MLB. Baseball guru Sully brings you a daily blend of humor and baseball, keeping you updated on every rumor and story throughout the offseason. Find Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And because we were off for Thursday, we're going to do a special Friday show that will be up for the weekend. So join us for that. And that's going to do it for this latest edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McCann. We'll see you tomorrow.